Let's welcome in. Yeah, let's welcome in Tim Brando, one of the great college voices. He is currently, I think, out in Las Vegas for the Crown, or was in Las Vegas this week for the Crown. Tim, it's great to have you on the show. Let's just start there. How has this Crown been going this week? It's kind of this new postseason tournament that you're part of.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I actually am back home at the Chateau now. This is my study, but I came home. I did the quarterfinal round. The Gus Bus and Jimmy J are doing the semifinals as we speak. In fact, I was just watching it, Baylor in Oklahoma, and I kind of got lost in it, and I was a little late getting to you as a result. So my apologies. But it's been great, and this was a bit of a breakthrough year, 4-year two for us at Fox, because getting two teams from both the ACC and SEC, which we're, as a company, not contracted with, was a bit of a breakthrough and maybe a good sign for, some intersectional games that we'd like to get on our network, both FS1 and Fox, in the future. College basketball has really taken off. Its regular season ratings have been better than ever. The company is invested in the college game, both college football and college basketball. So this was good to get two teams, especially Oklahoma, a team that was, without question, the first team left out by the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee, to get them over the NIT, to get a team like Baylor, which is also very athletic with a lot of future NBA guys and a former national champion just 5 years ago, was a good thing for the Crown, which I think is a great idea to have. We shrunk it from 16 teams to 8 this year. I think we did it because we thought the NCAA was going to expand to 76. It did not. And I hope they stay at 68 because I think they should. The only thing that needs to be fixed with college basketball, gentlemen, is the regular season, not the postseason. Postseason is perfect. We need the regular season to start a few weeks later. We don't need these meaningless games that are there to build metrics for teams to get in the tournament, with basketball teams playing in early November in the Bahamas. What are they going to do next? We're going to be playing at the UAE, live from Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, right.
College football is on at that time, and it clutters the calendar. And we don't need the NCAA tournament finishing before the Masters. That's the thought of a dinosaur. We need to have the regular season more exposed so fans can know something about these teams before Selection Sunday. That's what we need. Turner's got the championship today anyway, not CBS. So why are we in such a hurry to get basketball season over with before the azaleas start to bloom at Augusta? Makes no sense.
I don't know, Tim. That the UAE Invitational is going to, I think, be pretty fire next year. But no, Tim, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Tim Brando from Fox Sports. Yeah. You have some familiarity with some of the Final Four teams, Illinois in particular, because while I want to talk about Illinois, I first have a bone to pick with you, of you dropping the Tyus Edney reference at the end of that UCLA-Illinois game, because as a Missouri grad, that one stung deep. Here I am watching a casual Saturday night game between UCLA and Illinois, and I just get stabbed in the heart by Tim Brando taking strays. But that's neither here nor there, Tim.
Yeah.
I do got to ask you, this Illinois team, this is a different team than the one you called even late in the season, because now throughout March, they've turned into a defensive juggernaut.
Well, they have improved in that area, yes, to your point. I will say this. They'll have some of the same problems, I think, with UConn in this game today that they had with UCLA in that game. And by the way, that was a very important game for UCLA when you think about it. Mick Cronin was having a really tough time. He had just had his flare-up at Michigan State right before that. Had to have a mea culpa at a press conference the day before that game. They were firmly on the bubble. I mean, UCLA was really on the bubble and desperately needed a quad 1 victory at home like that, which I guess actually makes it a quad 2 win. But they needed the W, and they turned it around after that. And the funny thing was, I saw some people on the internet that actually framed up and took the Tyus Edney
Oh, of course.
play, matched it up with my call of Donovan Dent, and it actually worked to perfection. It was pretty funny. But yeah, when you've been around as long as I have, that's what pops into your head. You're seeing something. That's what's one of the advantages of being an old guy still doing play-by-play is that we have a recall that pops up that may not be there with a 35-year-old broadcaster. So that's just one of those things that happens from time to time. I meant no ill will. I was a big
No,
fan of
I
Norm
gotcha.
Stewart and Missouri.
Yeah.
But listen, Illinois, to get back to your original point, they are the longest team on the floor today. They have great size and length. They're not as athletic as either Michigan or Arizona, but they have every bit the size and length to deal with one of those two teams if they happen to get past UConn. The problem they're going to have with UConn today is twofold. One, the quickness of the wing players that UConn has, and can they get there in time to deal with Terrace Reed once he gets the ball? I think Illinois wins this game if they can effectively challenge Terrace Reed with their own offense and get him into foul trouble. Reed by himself is a matchup problem for Illinois. But as a team, with Reed out, if they lose him and Ryba is forced to come in and play a lot of minutes, this isn't like Donovan Clingan coming in for Sonogo a few years ago. Ryba's not ready. He's not ready to play. They want to get Terrace Reed out of there because the last month and a half of the season, Terrace Reed has carried UConn while they struggled from the perimeter. Even though they got there on the basis of an enormous shot from a kid that can really shoot it. Braylon Mullins had really been struggling, as had Caravan, as had Silas Demery, and so many of the other guards. You mentioned I've seen a lot of Illinois. I've also seen a lot of UConn this year, including their last loss at Marquette in the regular season that had the Danny Hurley blow up at the end and affected his week going into Madison Square Garden in New York. I think UConn is going to beat Illinois today, though, because I do believe they have that one major factor that Illinois doesn't have, and that's experience on this stage. When you get to the Final Four, the step from the first two rounds to the Sweet 16 is significant. I did 18 of those when I was at CBS from 96 to 2013. I did a couple of regional finals with Al McGuire in the late 90s as well. And that significant step from the first two rounds to the Sweet 16 is nothing at all like going to the Final Four. When you go to the final, it's so big, it's so vast. And even for Brad Underwood, even with his 39 years, and I wish him all the best in this game, Danny Hurley's been there and done that. And Brad is new to this. And that makes it, I think, a huge advantage for the Huskies today.
You mentioned you've seen a lot of UConn covering them and calling some of their games. What did you make of the narrative around Dan Hurley this week? We all know he's a heck of a personality, but the headbutt or the chest bump and this back and forth about the official and the interaction, as someone that covers these coaches quite a bit and has seen the interaction between official and coach, what did you make of that sequence?
Well, it wasn't at all like what happened at the end of the Marquette game, okay? What happened at the end of the Marquette game, and I don't care what Val Ackerman and the Big East said about they looked at the tape and the official said he contacted the official, all right? He did. But that official was not going to say that it happened, because had he said it, then he would have been suspended for the first game of the Big East tournament. And I think the conference didn't want to do that, and the official didn't want to do that, all right? But I know Roger Ayers very well, okay? And I also know that he and Danny have a playful relationship. They give each other, shall we say, I'll use excrement. They give each other excrement all the time.
That's a
all
good,
right? I'll put it
good
that
choice.
way. Yeah. So that back and forth that goes on between them is real. And by the way, when I watch some people that are in my profession that don't cover college basketball regularly say that it could have happened, he was borderline, if it had been if the official had wanted to call a technical there even after the shot, just stop. That was a playful, can you believe that was Danny Hurley being who he is. I mean, and Roger knows him as well as anybody, and Ayers just played along with it, and that's what that was. And again, we've got too many guys. It's one thing for fans to say it. It's one thing for webcasters to say it. But I saw professionals, guys that have been in the business for almost as long as me, all right, making it an issue for a couple of days on their gab fests. It's it's a crock that happened. And the way Danny is, I think, handling himself this week, I think he's been sort of the court gesture all week long in Indianapolis. I don't think I've ever seen him as loose or as he knows he's playing with house money, that he got really lucky to be in this position. And I think as a result, he feels a lot less pressure in this. Plus, he's the only guy that's playing in this Final Four as a coach that's got 2 in his hip pocket already, right? So even if he doesn't win, what a hell of a year, to get this team with a lot of new faces, really, when you think about it. He's going to lose a guy or two. He's got a lot of new faces on this team. And this sort of adds to the legend, I think. His situation, I think this week has been one that he could take advantage of with his sort of sick personality, and it is a sick personality. Well, I like the guy. I've always liked Danny. But there are times in a course of a game that you really can't protect him. And he knows. I mean, I saw him at the Big East tournament. He knows that I had to say what I did, that he clearly made contact with the official at the end of that Marquette game. And, he could have been suspended there. That was real. What happened there was real. What happened at the aftermath of that 3 ball that won his way into the Final Four, that was playful, and that was just having some fun. And for people in the media, legitimate national media, to make an issue out of it was a joke.
Well, you got to respect the absolute hell out of Tim Brando from Fox Sports for joining us and squeezing every last ounce of juice out of his voice after calling the college basketball crown in Las Vegas this week. Tim, before we let you go, were you able to squeeze in any golf while out in Vegas? And if so, how did you shoot?
No, I wish I could have taken my sticks, but I had gone with my family down a spring break down to the lovely Redneck Riviera, where we like to go on the Okaloosa Island there on the Floribama line. I spent time with my grandkids, and when there's 4 kids between the ages of 5 and 9, they're at the beach with you. You're probably some adults might catch a little something, and I think my wife did, and then I in turn got it from her before I went out to Vegas. So I had to take it easy, rest my vocal cords a little bit, because that sinus and head thing was kind of moving slower and getting closer to my larynx as the crown went on. I didn't get to play, but I played some before, and I will be playing some. In fact, a lot, because I'm off now until football season. So
there we go.
The Timmy B tours are ready to get going. Start with the Byron Nelson Celeb Am. I got to defend my championship there, and I got to go to a few others, and some more beach time to come my way between now and toe meeting leather in late August or early September.
Notice
it'll be here before you know it.
I got to.
Yeah.
Tim Brando, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and enjoy some of the games tonight.
You got it. Yeah, I like Michigan today, and I like UConn today. I do think Michigan, they're going to switch up. They're going to put the big fella. They're going to put Lindenborg out front to relieve Cadeau of having to handle it too much. His versatility is going to be a problem. I think even though Arizona defensively is really good, against Michigan, they've got too many out pitches. So I like the Wolverines, and I like UConn today.